Little down fish. We have some drums, black drums and red drums. So we have a lot of different really cool fish in here as well. So I can tell by looking over here at the bubbles that our divers are probably just where they should be. Let me just check and make sure.
What are you talking about?
Okay, all right. So we're waiting for I think the other one is probably his helper over here is probably dealing with one of the sea turtles. I will tell you, of all the animals in here, sea turtles are the most pesky because they are curious about everything. And when we talk about how Don can talk to us, you're going to understand he has a long, long cord. And as soon as the sea turtles see that long, long cord, they like to come over and bite at it and what have you. So I think they might be playing with the sea turtle right now. But I think what I'm going to have you do, I think without further ado, you should give Don a nice big round of applause and say, come on up, Don.
Hi guys, welcome to Adventure Aquarium.
So, where's your buddy, Don?
Well, I'm not sure. She's coming over right now.
Oh, here she comes now, ladies. We have a lady diver on this team. This is Missy. A very nice round of applause. Yeah, this diving thing isn't just for the guys. You know, we have girls here too. Oh, well, all right. Now, I think it's important, Dawn, that we tell everybody how it is that you and I can talk together, but all we can do is kind of, hey, Missy, yo, Missy, can't hear me, okay? So, how is it you and I can talk, but we can only just wave at Missy?
Well, it's pretty obvious. Nancy can talk to you because she's using a microphone. There's actually a microphone in my mask, and I've got headphones over my ears so I can hear what she's telling everyone.
All right, but Missy can't. All right. Oh, there's another diver over here. That looks like Bob.
We have Bob just keeping an eye on Bob the turtle.
See, did I tell you? He's keeping his eye on Bob the turtle. So Bob is watching Bob. And they're all going to Bob along, all around. Okay. Yeah, what Bob is wearing is actually something called a guardian or an aga. It's a full face mask, and as he said, it has microphone, earpieces, and of course, it's a place for his regulator, and we'll talk about why that's important as well. Alright, so if you look at what Missy is wearing, and she's really interesting, and Bob, they're wearing something that looks like this. Okay, they do not have an aga. This is a typical, this pair of goggles that a diver would wear. Why would something like this be necessary for the diver to wear, Don?
Well, divers need to see it on water.
That's true.
And in order for a diver to see on water, you need air and airspace between your mask and your eyes. Right. And that's why they wear a goggles that covers their eyes as well as their nose.
Right. So if you've ever tried to open your eyes underwater, if you've ever been in the salt water or even in a pool with chlorine, it burns. It's not very comfortable. So you need that airspace between the goggles and your eyes so that you can open your eyes and see. And by the way, if you're not diving because you wear prescription glasses, guess what? They can make these in your prescription. So if that's what's keeping you from diving, that's a shame. All right, so what's the temperature like again today, Don?
The temperature inside here is a very refreshing 68 degrees.
It's 68 degrees, the temperature's come down.
Yeah.
It was about 72 this morning.
It feels very good.
Yeah. So the deal is, if it's fairly comfortable, how come you're all wearing those fancy suits?
Well, body temperature's around 98 degrees. As soon as you jump in water that's colder than that, you're going to get chilled. The diver wears a wetsuit that actually lets water inside the wetsuit. It gets strapped inside your wetsuit. And then your body heat warms that water up, and you stay warm for the remainder of the dive.
Wow, and how long would that dive be?
Well, typically a dive would last maybe about an hour.
Okay.
Maybe a little shorter for doing maintenance.
All right, so the whole idea is that it's insulation. As he said, it's a wetsuit because it gets wet inside. And that little layer of water gets heated up by the body heat of the diver and keeps them warm, which is fantastic. All Okay. Now you do know that there's such a thing as a dry suit, and there's a very important double agent, or a secret agent rather, who wears a dry suit. Do you know who that is?
Bond.
James Bond. Yes, because every time he takes one off, he's got a tuxedo on underneath. And that's because water does not get into the dry suit. So that's how you do that. Okay. So I'm interested in knowing, first of all, do you think these guys are fish? No. So how do they breathe? What do they use to breathe with? Lungs, right, okay. Well, fish don't have lungs, they have gills. So that means we breathe air. But they're in the water. So how are you breathing, Don?
Well, what do you think we're breathing? We're breathing air.
And where does that come from?
Well, let me show you what's missing. Can you turn around? You see the blue tank on the back of her scuba unit? That's filled with air. And that's enough air in there to stay underwater for about an hour.
Now, that's just the same kind of air that we're breathing out here. It's just all squished down into that tank. And it lasts for, again, would you say an hour or more?
Depends on how much work you're doing.
Okay, how much work you're doing, how deep you're going in the water. And of course, with you talking, I'm sure you're using up a lot more air as well.
I do, exactly.
Now, I'm looking for a volunteer in here named Charlotte. Do I have somebody named Charlotte in here who would like to be a volunteer? Are you Charlotte?
Oh,
Hello, Charlotte.
Try on this vest for me. Would you do that? Model that for us. Can you put your arms together there? And the one on this side?
So is this the same kind of vest that you're all wearing here, Dawn?
Could you say that again, please?
Is this the same kind of a vest that you all three are you wearing right
That's
now?
exactly what we're wearing.
In fact, Charlotte, if you turn around, this is where that air tank would go, right down here. Okay. Alright. So what is the purpose of the vest?
The purpose of the vest, very good question. The vest actually has an attachment, and it allows you to put air in the back of your vest, which allows the diver to rise in the water. And it also has a release valve at the top. You let the air out of the vest, and the diver sinks.
Alright. So who would like to demonstrate that for us?
Would you like to demonstrate a second?
Alright, now Missy's gonna put some air into the vest. And hopefully she's going to rise up, and there she goes. Now when she takes and presses one of the other buttons here, the one that releases the air, you notice she has a lot of bubbles, and she comes right straight down again. So this vest, which is called a buoyancy compensator, is like a balloon. It's actually something that the fish have that we don't have. If you'll notice, all the fish can pick where they want to swim in the water column, and they don't go like this, they just kind of swim in that spot. That's because they have a swim bladder. So this is the next best thing to a swim bladder that we can use. Alright, so it's very important. Now, I will tell you too, Charlotte, can you give everybody a nice little bow? And can we all give Charlotte a nice little bow? Yes. I think Charlotte knows Dawn pretty well. Is that right, Dawn?
Thank you, Charlotte.
Did you hear she says
Charlotte, this is for you.
Nicely done. Okay. So, even though you've got the tank and the buoyancy compensator and all of that, you know those wetsuits are still very buoyant. So is there anything else that you have to do to keep yourself from bouncing up and down in the water?
Well, maybe not so much bouncing up and down in the water, but it's not a lot of fun to stay in one spot. So what do you think we're using for that?
We're going to, okay.
I've got a blue there.
I was going on to something else, but that's okay. Yeah, what do we call these guys? Fins or flippers? Yeah, we like to call them fins because it's the right thing we borrowed from the fish, okay? So, why are those important to you divers?
Well, it's important so we can move through the water column.
Oh, okay. So you can't swim like Michael Phelps through the water in here?
Well, water's about 4 times thicker than air, so it's a little tougher to go through the water without having something to propel you. Fish have a fin in the back that allow them to go back and forth that propels them to the water. Divers use the fins so they can catch and move left and right through the water.
So because water is much more dense than air, it's difficult to go through. You know yourself if you've tried to walk through a pool or you've tried to walk along the beach, it can be done. Oh, here's Bob. Here's Bob. Where's Bob? I thought Bob was looking after Bob. Okay. Not unusual, you turn the lights on in here, eventually Bob the loggerhead shows up. Okay. So once again, something else that we borrowed from the fish. All right, Don, very important question. Why do we have divers here at the aquarium? Because we have 14 teams of volunteer divers here. Why do we have divers?
Well, we have divers at the aquarium. Well, it's quite simple, actually. There's a lot of dirt that comes into the water here.
Why?
And the divers are here to volunteer. And what we do, we come in the morning. Lots of times we'll vacuum the gravel, get all the dirt from the fish. We'll clean the windows so that everybody in the audience can see the diver. We'll prepare fish. We'll prepare food for the fish so that they get fed well during the day.
All right, so let's see. You vacuum the gravel, you clean the windows. I know you scrub rocks because I've seen you doing that.
Yes, we do that also.
Yes, you do. You come in and you cut up about almost 60 pounds of food for this exhibit. So what you're saying basically is you're a caterer and you're a housekeeping or maid staff for this exhibit, am I right?
Exactly.
Wow, it sounds like chores to me, I don't know. So why would you come in and do that for nothing?
Well, it's just a lot of fun to be here with all our friends.
Okay, and there's some really cool animals. I don't think there's anywhere in the world we can dive and actually dive with a number of different animals that we have here. We're very fortunate to have the collection of animals that we do. All right, so who has a question they'd like to ask my friend Dawn today? All right, I'll just start with the young lady today. All right, can you say that a little bit louder? Okay, that was a statement. Her dad has some fins like yours. Okay? Yeah, question, sir. Why do the bubbles come out of your mask?
Oh, the bubbles. Well, when you're breathing, you're exhaling air. If you're outside and not underwater, you don't see the air expelling. In the water, the bubbles from your exhale, you're going to see them, and they're going to rise to the surface.
Right, so it's like you inhale, and when you exhale, like he says, you can see it in the water, but you can't see it out here in the air when you exhale. Yes, what's your question? Oh, this is a good question. I'll take this one. I want to know if hammerhead sharks eat small stingrays. Tell you a little bit of a secret about this exhibit. Years ago, there used to be a feed show in the afternoon, around 3:15 in the afternoon. You remember that, Dawn? And the divers used to come in with pails of fish, and we used to have cow-nose rays, we had a pelagic ray, we had some Atlantic rays, and the divers would actually feed the animals, the stingrays here in this exhibit. Then we found out we were going to get a hammerhead shark. Well, of course, hammerhead sharks are known for really liking stingrays, especially cow-nose rays. So we removed the cow-nose rays. And for years, we did not have them. What we decided to do, because these animals are now used to being fed differently, and because their diet is different, and because they have no need to hunt for their food, we were actually able to reintroduce cow-nose rays bit by bit into this exhibit, and as you can see, they don't bother with them at all. But out in the wild, you are correct. Hammerhead sharks do like stingrays. Yes, question over here.
Why do you need air tanks to breathe underwater?
What is it?
Why do you need air tanks to breathe underwater?
Why do you need air tanks to breathe underwater? Well, that's what we were asking. Because we breathe air. We don't have gills, so we can't see the fish have gills. They take the oxygen that they need out of the water. We have to breathe air. We don't have gills, okay? So that's why we need the air tank. Have time for one more question. Anybody up there in the top? In the turquoise.
Okay, it's okay.
You forgot. Okay, did you have a question? Try eating the rest of the things in the tank, and I assume she means you too, Don. Even though you're very, very sweet. Okay? The idea is that all of our animals are extremely well fed, and that includes the sharks. Sharks in this exhibit, like in the other exhibit, are fed 3 times a week. They're fed Saturdays, Mondays, and Thursdays. That means that they eat more here in the course of the month than they would in the wild. In the wild, they're very lucky if they can eat 2 times a month. And that's only if they can find a food source. So by eating here 3 times a week, they are just so satisfied. There is no hunter instinct going on here. They're really not interested in their tank mates at all. And it's just as simple as that. They eat things like herring, they eat mackerel, they eat squid, they eat skates, and guess what? They get a vitamin in their food. So if you're walking to take your vitamins, boys and girls, they take their vitamins. Yeah, what's the other one?
How do they figure out that it's only 3 times a week?
Because they can tell from their behavior, I assume that's the maximum amount that they eat. Because first of all, they're not out in the wild, so they're not doing a lot of hunting, and they're not going great distances. They also don't want them to you don't want to get them to get fat and happy, okay, and sluggish. So that's how they determine that. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please give Dawn and Missy and Bob a nice big round of applause? We really appreciate that.
Thanks for coming to the aquarium, guys.
Yeah, and I think if you have some time, Dawn, we'd like to have them come down to the window and do some high fives with you.
That'd be awesome, yeah.
And Missy and Bob, and a good time to take pictures as well. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. Thanks to our other friend Bob over here.
No problem. No problem. Thank you. Where's he going?
Go to the fish. Please go to the fish, Papa. The cord is stuck. So I can't catch shark.
Here, Miley, turn around, look at me. Speckled on.
Did you notice that there's actually a different kind of one? Thank you. They're going around asking people if they know. Well, if you think back about 275 years to the fathers of our country, we had one in particular who was a great American. No.
Thumbs up, Don. Hey, my man. Hey, you're on TV. You're going to be. Aww.
He actually had things called smooth paddles. He made it out of wood. So he was great for but he didn't have to get plastic insurance.
Uh-oh. He's going upside down.
He goes upside down. How did he go upside down?
Whoa! He did a turn.
One of the jacks, one of the